Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi everyone, this is Natalie Jean. It's Natalie Jean. Yes, it's Chatting with Nat. And today we have Ina, lead vocalist of the band KingQueen. Ina of KingQueen is a LA-based pop rock band. The band was formed by Swedish lead singer Ina and has been seen on multiple platforms such as MTV, VH1, OutAt TV, Revry TV, and American Music Awards. In 2019, KQ released their EP, Get Loud, and music videos for both Running in Water and One Day. Running in Water had its premiere and screening at the 2019 QueerX Film Festival. KingQueen has had nominations for Best Pop at the LA Music Awards, Best Pop Song at HMMA Awards, and won Music Video of the Year at the IndieNation Awards. KQ's been performing Avalon, Long Beach, Pride Main Stage, opening for Jussie Smollet, Out Web Fest, The Viper Room, OC Fair, Boardners, DTLA Proud, Pershing Square Main Stage, Out at the Fair Tour, The Mint, LA Fashion Week, the Whisky opening for rock band Royal Distortion, former Barb Wire Dolls, toured the U.S. and more. In the end of 2020, KQ released a music video for their single Roller Coaster, which earned a nomination for Rock Song of the Year at the 2021 Hollywood in Media Music Awards. You would think I know how to say that. I've been to that event 500 times. Best Music Video at the Munich Music Video Awards and won the Best Band Award at the International Music Video Underground Awards in Paris. KingQueen recently signed with Curtain Call Records and released their single Live It Up in April of 2021. The song had its radio debut on 95.5 KLOS Heidi and Frank show and will have a music video out June 6th. I'm sure it's out there now. KingQueen is expected to release an album later this year, so let's give them a round of applause. Hi, Ina. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm living in a pandemic. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy, my God, a couple of years. It's been insane.
Right.
How have you been during this pandemic?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. In the beginning of the pandemic, I was pretty much all this time because, I live in LA and for the past couple of years, like working as a music teacher, I was driving from students to students' house and I was, always stuck in traffic and thinking, wow, like I love them, but this is not why I came here because I felt like I was lacking the time giving myself sitting in the studio or recording and, I had time performing a lot, but not recording per se. So in the beginning of the pandemic, I was just like, yay, recording, editing, and all of that, which was amazing. And then another thing that the pandemic gave me, which you can call it bad, you can call it good. It's life. It's just, it gave me a lot of insight of where I really am mentally as a woman and made me realize, because, before the pandemic, we were so busy living where we didn't really get a chance to be in tune with ourselves or really listen to what that anxiety is and where does this come from and why do I feel like this and why am I anxious? And so with that being said, with having so much time, it also gave me a lot of time to feel even more anxious. And so like now I'm on this journey actually where I'm working really hard with myself, and I'm not speaking career-wise, but like just like mentally. And in a way, at the same time as I hate it because it's
Mm-hmm.
painful, I'm also grateful because what if I would have never sat down and dealt with it? Maybe in the future, maybe like, you know, like I would have had some kind of breakdown that would hinder me from, you know, like just open up and be the person I'm supposed to be, I guess.
Right. No, I can appreciate that because you actually answered one of the questions, but I'll ask you further, deeper, because the thing is, and I've told a lot of people this, is that, you know, the pandemic was obviously bad, obviously, but
Right.
there's been a lot of pros and there have been a lot of cons. Obviously, the cons are people getting sick and people dying, you know, kids losing their parents, people just losing family members left and right.
Right.
So much tragedy. However, when you look at the pros, if you believe in climate change, my God, the trees, the animals were like, my God, we can breathe. We can do so many things out here. We don't have to see all these people. Again, with the downside, a lot of people are like, they never spent time with their families. They took the time to spend time with their children, to get to know their children, to get to know their spouses. Some guy told me, you know what? I'm taking a step back from my work. I'm cutting back hours because I realized that I'm missing out on a lot.
Right.
It also, like you and I and a bunch of other people, took time to self-reflect. You know, who are we as artists? How do we want to be perceived? What are we going to do out there once this is all done? Or what are we going to do while the pandemic is happening? So that people see that we have changed our concept of who we are as artists. We want to be perceived in another way. So as you were talking, you said, you know, you had time to self-reflect. So did you see that you wanted to change who you were as an artist or do something even greater as the artist you are now?
So the one thing I think like the time gave me, and like I've never, it's not that I've ever been dishonest before, but it made me want to be even more honest, and it made me want to be even, because I think we all realize, you know, this can all be over tomorrow, so why not give it everything you have? And I'm not saying like production-wise, but like from your soul, like from your gut. And I will tell you, like the past 2 weekends, because I just got back doing shows, I've never felt as connected to the audience, like, and I think because it just, we were so vulnerable together, and I think it's, again, it's not that I wasn't before, it's just different now, and it's just, it's all about the audience, and you realize that it's not at all about you, it's all about the audience, and it's all about that connection, and yeah, so, and then there's another side to it, and like being in the music business, like the one thing I said during the pandemic, well, we're still in a pandemic, but I'm saying before the opening, it's don't go back to doing things that stress you out. Now, what I mean by that, of course you have to work hard, but there's certain things that you really, like, what do you want to do? Is it important to perform? Yes. Do you have to perform at the Viper Room? No, you don't. Do you have to sell tickets and pay to play? No, you don't. Like, why are you stressing? Go perform at a bar and enjoy your life. You know, and that's the kind of things that coming back to it. I'm just like, I'm saying no to a lot of things, which is opening up other opportunities.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you get a different perspective when you sit back. I know that during the pandemic, I had time to do a bunch of webinars, oh my God, on music that I would never have for anything. I mean, I did one on TikTok this time. I do 5 videos a day. Who has time for that? But, you know, who really has time for that? But I learned about TikTok and how you can use it in different ways for your music, or if you have some type of message that you want to relay to your fans or whoever, it's a great platform for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the different ways to use it, the algorithms. I mean, I learned so much about the music business. It was crazy. Clubhouse, my God. I learned this one about sync and licensing and stuff like that. So it did give us an opportunity to learn more about a lot of things. It gave, you know what's interesting to me? I'm a very spiritual person. So I believe that even though in the chaos, it gave people a break. It just gave people a break, a needed break. Like if you were praying for some kind of trying to manifest a break in your life, you got it during the pandemic. Believe me. I was praying not to be at my job for it.
Yeah.
I was praying, child. I was praying. And then the pandemic came and I was like, oh, I was still working from home, but I was just like, oh my God, I the stress level went down because I was like, I didn't have anything over my shoulders. I was able to do my thing. And then just like you, it's like, I'm not going to stress about a lot of these things anymore. You know, even with music is a tough business. It's a lot of work. I'm not even going to lie about that. But you're going to decide, I'm not going to stress out on this gig when I can do this gig. Things are just because that is my intention out into the universe. So I get what you're saying. You know, we don't have to do all that stressing. Now, during the pandemic, did you do any live streaming?
Yeah, so I did a few, and that's another thing. It's just I learned so much. Like like some of the ones I did, for instance, were the ones where like you do a pre-recorded one, and I did not like it because it was like all the editing and I don't mind editing itself, but it was like, man, like I'm not in front of people, and then I said to myself, I miss shitty sound guys. You know, I was like, I miss the imperfections. I was like, I miss that anything can happen. Like, so I didn't quite like it because it felt like it was just so supposed to be so perfect, but at the same time, I never got to look anybody in the eyes, and it just lost its meaning somehow. I don't know.
It's crazy because I never did live streaming until the pandemic because I hooked up with this company called B Square Management, but and sometimes there were people there, sometimes there were a few people there, sometimes it was a lot of people, sometimes just singing stuff. So it helped me in the sense that okay, I need to remember some of my lyrics, so let me just practice. You know, it was a lot of fun to stare into the camera, and you know, you learn tricks and trades of a lot of different things. I mean, but it opened up this whole idea, this whole live streaming concept that you can do. And I think live streaming will still be a part of our lives, even though things are opening up. I mean, because let's be honest, we have to find many different ways to make money. We're not out here like mainstream artists making millions of dollars. We have to compete against them. You know, obviously, if we're selling merch, streaming, we have to spend on Spotify. We're not making much money there. And so we have to find different avenues to be able to make money. And one of the things I learned, obviously, is which I knew about, is thinking licensing and delving deeper into that. But yeah, live streaming is kind of crazy. But you can make money live streaming. How would you describe your music?
Oh, my music has gone through so many shapes and forms, but I would call it melodic rock because, you know, like the one thing like people, like new people say every time, like I've met a new fan, like at a show, it's like, oh, I'm not really that big of a fan of rock, but I like your rock because I can hear what you're singing. So I think, I would call it melodic rock with a purpose behind it.
With a purpose. I like that. But what would you say is rebellious, unconventional, or unusual about your music?
I think maybe not. Well, maybe music and myself. I don't sexualize my stuff. There's I don't know. I'm just, that topic is like it's not existent. And which was a little bit scary in the beginning because I thought, you know, like maybe I have to dress a certain way, maybe this, maybe that, and I was actually signed to a record label when I was younger, and you know, like they would tell me what to wear, and I hated it, and it was weird because I almost had to turn off when I went on stage. Like, I almost had to go into a different character because I was so uncomfortable. So, like, the one thing with, like, leaving the label, what I loved the most was that I didn't have to do certain things or sing certain things. And I don't think as a woman that we have to look a certain way to have
Right.
people listen to us. With that being said, I am never going to judge any woman if they wanted to walk up naked on the stage. Go ahead. Like, it's just not me. So like, it's just, I don't mind if someone else does it. For me, I'm not comfortable doing it. And I think the rebellious part of it is that I have never tried to do it to get somewhere, I guess. I don't know. But I'm not saying other women are doing it to get somewhere either. It's just a personal preference.
And I love that you say that. You're like, it's not for you, but if somebody else wants to do it, it's okay. Because, this past year for the Grammy Awards, there was much discussion about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's performance at the Grammy Awards, and a lot of people were offended. They were calling them names and all kinds of things. And, well, but the thing is, I was just like, why are you name calling these women? People know what they do. They've seen the music video. If you're going to yell at anybody, yell at the Recording Academy. They knew what they were doing. They knew what kind of things presented. And I think we have to do away with all the name calling of women. Cher, Madonna, Britney, even some of the guys doing certain, sexual undertones or whatever, or overtones or whatever they be. And I also believe that if we're artists, we shouldn't judge other people's creativity.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
We don't want you to tell us what to do. You know what I mean? You don't want anybody to, no, Ina, I don't want you to do that. That's just wrong. It's in poor taste when you know what you're doing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When I look at Cardi B, though, I, live for her. That's so not me, but I, love who she is. And that's the thing. Everyone is different, right? So, I can appreciate any art, just because it's not my art. So, when I look at Cardi B, I could never, ever, call her any type. I just think, she's rocking it. And, again, it's just, maybe she would be super uncomfortable, in my position, you know what I mean? So it's just I'm just not comfortable with it. But when I see someone else do it and they own it, I'm like, that's hot. Yeah, good girl. Yeah.
I mean, it's we're in the 21st century. I think women owning their own sexuality should be just something that's just normal. I mean, we're not going back to the olden days where we're all buttoned up and this, that, and the other. And if being buttoned up is good for one person, then that's good. Do your thing. But
exactly,
you never go to an artist that paints and say, well, you should have used this orange right here. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. So don't do it to our artistic endeavors while we're doing things out there. So what was the moment in your life where you're like, whoa, I need to be in this music. I need to do the music industry thing. I need to sing. I need to rock it out.
Always loved art. I always loved art, but I wasn't actually a really good, I wasn't a good singer at all growing up, but I really wanted to be. And so I worked really hard on my vocals. I growing up, these girls, they had amazing angelic voices, and my voice was just not there. And I remember on the recitals, it was they would sing Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston, and there's no way I could do that. So I would sing more male-based songs or whatever. So for the longest time, I thought that maybe I'm just I'm just gonna write, and then but I also do acting, and I was cool with just tiptoeing everywhere, just doing art. And then I moved to London when I was 20, and I went to school there for music, and it was amazing. I loved it so much. And but 1 year in, I realized that, okay, I can actually do this, that I don't have to sound any other way than my way. And so I looked for another college because I really loved school. And I wanted to find a college that was focusing more on actually your own art and your own writing versus studying the music. And so I found Musicians Institute in Hollywood, and I remember flying here. And mind you, I didn't care where the school was going to be. Like, I just looked it up, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. So I came, and I hated the environment. Like, when I first came, and not the school, but like when I first landed, came to Hollywood, I was like, oh my God, it's really dirty. People are kind of crazy. This is like, I had like a culture shock, and I didn't know how to like even tell like anyone that, oh my God, I don't think I actually want to be here, right? So like, I was like, man, I flew all the way here from Europe. Like, this is like, you know, like, what am I going to do now? And so I got a free ticket to the Jay Leno show. And I just went, like, randomly just went. And then, like, you know, during, like, tapings, they will have, like, you know, like, entertain the audience and interview the audience sometimes. Yeah, so they happened to interview me, and they asked me what I do, and I say I'm a singer. And then Jay Leno asked me up on the stage, and I sang Michael Jackson, The Way You Make Me Feel. And it was just such a cool experience. And that experience was that changed everything, because that was when I realized it doesn't matter where you are. You have to be where the opportunities are, right? Yeah. And I was like, this opportunity is never going to happen in London. It's never going to happen in Sweden. Like, this happened to me 3 days after being in LA, and I never turned around. Like, I never looked back. After that, I just knew this is where I'm staying, and I can deal with the culture shock. This is where the opportunities are.
As a woman in the pop rock arena, do you think it's easy for you? Has it been hard? Do you think women have, you know, way more strides to go in the music industry?
I think what's hard for women is that we're compared. We're constantly compared to what's hot right now. So when I moved here, even when I had a record deal, I was constantly compared to Lady Gaga, and it was just like, I'm not trying to be Gaga, and it was like there was no space in that moment, because you know, there was Katy Perry, there was Gaga, Rihanna, like that was what was popping, and like she was the one they compared me to, and it made me so frustrated, because it didn't matter what I did, and I'm very like artistic, and I will put glitter on my face, and it's just natural. I've done that my whole life, and it was almost like, well, do I have to change who I am so I'm not compared, but then I'm just me, so it's confusing. So I think that's the only thing I would say that's been hard being a woman, is that we are very often compared, versus I don't really see a lot of people compare guys. You know, I think they just have a different ride than us.
That's true. You know, you bring a different perspective to it. I didn't really think about that, but that's true. They're often comparing women to other women, which is horrible. So I'm going to play your song, Roller Coaster. Tell us what that is about.
So Roller Coaster, I actually wrote that song about like 10 years ago. And I know it's funny that I just released it, but the song is about just being young, or like any age, I guess, like, and just giving yourself to someone and never getting it back. And it's just, I think we can all relate to those 3 a.m. text messages and feeling important for a second, but then we're really not. So, yeah.
Alrighty. Let's get a word from our sponsor. We'll play the song.
Hi, it's Jordan and Madison, and we're Jay Madison out of Nashville, Tennessee. We'd love to tell you about B Squared Management, artist services by artists for artists. Get your press, branding, single release, and sync success plan now at bsquaredmgmt.com. And listen up to our latest single, Down, now on Spotify.
Touch me when you're higher down the sky. You only call me
That song was great. Lots of fun. I was jamming.
Thank you.
I was jamming.
Thank you.
How did you put your band together? How did that come about?
Oh, wow. So, again, like going back to being signed, like I when I was signed when I was younger, I was signed as a pop artist. And
right.
it just, before that, I had always been in bands. And it just didn't feel right. Like nothing felt right. And I remember actually like towards the end, like I met this producer, Kim Fowley. He actually he created the Runaways, and he discovered Joan Jett and he worked with a couple rock bands like back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I've actually always wanted to work with him, which is so crazy that I even like became really good friends with him. Because I've always been a big fan. And then I spent the whole weekend with him in a studio. We just worked on stuff, and like I turned up my phone and everything, and like I just like got to just like feel like myself again and do like rock and just be me. And he helped me get out of my contract, and literally like a month later, I found people that wanted to join my band, and ever since then I just don't want to do anything else, and I just don't want to I don't want to be in a place ever again where like I'm not doing things that I'm not where I'm not like passionate about, because I feel like a liar when I do. Like if you go up on stage and you're not doing it the way that you feel is right, then I don't think you're entertaining the way that you were meant to be entertaining. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. And he gave me that big push that I needed, because I was so sad. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I was sad. Like, I know, like, you're signed, but you're sad. It's like, I felt sad because I felt like locked and you know, like, yeah, like it's music is your heart. It's your love. It's your everything. Like, it should never feel like that. So, yeah, I followed my heart. in the end, yeah.
Followed your intuition. Now, how did the whole signing with Curtain Call Records come about?
So, again, like being signed, you have a team. You have people doing a lot of things, right? And so I lost all of that. I went from like having producers and, you know, like studios and red cams and all of that to having friends follow me around with phones and like film my stuff guerrilla style. And, you know, after a few years, it's kind of tiring and you can't do things alone. But I've always said, if I'm ever going to get signed again, it has to be when I feel like the sound is matching what I've had on my mind. Right. And where I'm walking in with something where I'm saying, this is it, let's work, but it's not changing, you know, like we can improve, but this is it, right? Because I'm, you know, I've always want to learn, but, you know, in the end of the day, you know who you are. So in the pandemic, like we released a music video, Roller Coaster, and I was very, very proud of the music video and the song and the production and everything. And that's when I said, okay, I'm ready. So I literally sat down for almost 2 weeks and emailed every freaking independent, not independent, like big, small label, like, and got to talk to a few. And what I liked with Curtain Call was that everything was very black and white. This is how it is. And it's just, we got along so quickly and I felt appreciated and I still feel appreciated. And it's just, it's a team rather than someone telling you what to do. So it was very cool. Yeah. And it felt right because it felt like, okay, this is an addition to what we have. It's not starting over. It's moving forward.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's funny because I often ask people, you know, do you want to sign with a big label? Would you want to go indie? Do you want to stay by yourself? And somebody gave me a good perspective about signing with a huge label. It's like, you know, when you're with any type of label, though, you have a team that can help you. With big labels, obviously, they have a lot of money. They can do a lot more stuff for you. It's what you're willing to sacrifice. You know, you can, and she also, like, you can negotiate. So it's not a bad thing to be a label with any label. You just have to learn to be able to negotiate and you know, still remain who you are as an artist, which I think is very important. I think right now the world is craving authentic and real artists. They're tired of listening to people that are just, you know, out there trying to chart and just singing whatever, blah, 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 yada, yada. You know, they want to feel. They want something deep and real. They want to feel like they're your best friends. And I think that even with all this TikTok, Instagram, and stuff like that, people, what I've learned, go towards the people that are real, that are doing real things, not the fake. Oh, I want you to listen to music because you know it's just crazy. This whole music thing is crazy. What is your songwriting process like? How do you go about writing a song?
You know, it's very strange. My sad songs like are often tributes to, I don't like the word often because it's not like this happens often, but my sad tribute songs are to the ones we've lost in our life, right? Like that has passed, and that comes very quickly, and that is just this therapy that happens. But the other songs, it's very strange. It happens while I'm driving. It's literally, it's not even a plan. I don't listen to anything in my car, really. So, because everything's just so loud in this world, you know, everywhere you go. So I like to just have nothing on in my car. So often I'll just come up with a melody, but it's not planned. It just will come, and then I'll use my voice memo on the phone and I'll sing into it, and then I keep building the song in my car, or if I'm hiking or something like that, where I'm in nothing, basically. That's when it comes. And then once I've recorded it on the voice memo, and I come home and I sit down on the piano, figure out like what key is the best key, and if I feel like, okay, let's move on with it, then I'll go on my laptop and I build the song, the drums, send it to the band and say, let's rehearse and see how we feel with it.
Awesome. Now we're going to play your song, Live It Up. What is that about?
So that one is funny. That one is actually the first time ever that a song actually didn't come to me through stillness or anything. It was literally, we had a jam session and we wrote it in 15 minutes and it just happened. It was just very organic and beautiful, and it was just like, hey, let's do something funky, and it just happened. And the only request my bass player had was, don't make it a sad song. And I'm like, okay, I won't. So it just became this positive song we wrote together really fast.
All righty, here we go. Fun. I like that. Jam and Jam.
Thank you.
Now, what is the one thing you wish you had learned or known before you entered the music industry?
You know, I don't like regretting stuff. So, like, it's kind of like if I like answer that means things would be different. And huh?
I mean, for me, I'll tell you what it is for me.
Yeah.
I wish I'd done more research on people, because when you start out in the music industry, there are a lot of scammers that will come at you and say, I can do this and I can do that. And when you're very green, you really don't know better. And if you don't have a support system around you that'll help you understand that not everybody's your friend, so to speak, I wish I did more research on people that contacted me.
You know, I'll agree with that, because I've had a lot of people where like they wanted to be my manager, for instance, and like I have been like, I found out like, you know, like I got paid, but I didn't get the amount that I should have been paid and stuff like that, and then they like, it's just like, so I guess you're right. That's one thing. You should always try to protect yourself, do your research. Like maybe like if they have a website, look up the roster, and there's no shame in asking those artists like, how has your experience been with this person? You know, like, because you're right, and a lot of us we're not living in our hometowns. We don't have our families around us, and it can be hard, and you want to make these decisions. But yeah, I will agree with you.
All right. Now, what advice would you give somebody else trying to get into this industry?
Do it. If that's like, it's hard. It's hard. You know, it's hard. But I think anything in life that you love is hard, because with love there's pain. There's not just happiness. So I think like, it's hard. But at the same time, you know, like you're so very lucky. Like if you're just starting out, like, you have the internet, you know, like I didn't have what's out there today. Yeah, like, I mean, do you remember printing CDs and how much that cost? And like, yeah, so like, in a way, like, you know, go for it. Like you can upload stuff on Spotify these days and take it down the next week if you don't want it up there anymore. You know, it's just, do it. Always follow your heart, no matter what you want to get into.
Easier for people to do music now. It's way easier.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need a label. You can just create a song, find a distributor. You can do CD Baby Tunes or whatever, DistroKid, and just say, I'm going to put music. There you go. And then you're a star. So it's not like back in the day where you had to struggle trying to get the CD together. Is anybody going to listen? Oh, my God. The struggle was real. So one last question. What is a quote or a message that you like to live by?
It's very short, and I just always say it, and I just recently tattooed it on my body, and it's just get loud. Like, whatever you're doing, get loud.
Get loud about it. Yeah. No, I like that. That's actually very perfect. Because I think a lot of people are afraid to get loud. They like to sit in the silence while everybody else is like getting loud, but sometimes you just gotta get loud. No, I agree with you 100%. Get loud. Right, but that can also be in anything. That can be. It doesn't necessarily mean like, you know, scream on top of your lungs. It's just like, it's just be you. Get loud. Like wear what you want to wear. Eat what you want to eat. Sing what you want to sing. Like all of it. Just be you. Get loud. Amen. Amen. Be you. Be your authentic self. I love it. Thank you, Ina, for being on Chatting with Nat. It has been my pleasure. You are awesome. We've been friends on for 100 years now.
I know. I realized that actually when I looked at everything, because I told you like it went to the junk. I was like, hold on. I know Nat. So I'm very excited that we got to chat.
Exactly. It's actually today I was just like, wait a minute. I know Sabrina. Get out of here. I know this. I know this young lady.
Right.
So that's awesome. So thank you for being on Chatting with Nat. It's a pleasure. And hopefully one day we can do the IG Live thing. Get you on there.
Would love that.
Right. Well, have a nice evening and have a great week.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that was Ina, lead vocalist of the band KingQueen, on Chatting with Nat. You can just Google her. You'll find all of her information. She is awesome. She's with it. And remember, get loud. Until next time on Chatting with Nat. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.